They say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
She had an Instagram, and it recorded a super wholesome life.
But how much can you really tell about a person's life from a snapshot? Online, Nikki Addimando was the perfect portrait of a cheerful young mom. 2 kids, Ben and Faye, smiling, goofy.
She took amazing pictures of her kids. Those are like their happiest memories.
There was a very cute element to the days, and then it seems like there was a very dark element to their nights.
Out of frame, there were things she didn't share. Allegations of severe physical and sexual abuse at the hands of her partner, the father of her children.
What's his name? Chris Grover.
According to her testimony, he took out his gun.
He told her that he was going to shoot her and himself and leave their children alone, and Nikki feared for her life.
And according, again, to her testimony, she shot him in the head while he was lying down on the couch threatening her.
Nikki said it was self-defense.
Oh my God, oh my God.
The jury found her guilty of second-degree murder. Now, a wide-ranging group of supporters led by Nikki's sister, Michelle, is urging the New York governor to commute her sentence and bring her home, a decision that could come as early as next week. They're hoping her case could pave the way for so many others.
I think a lot of women see themselves in Nikki. They see themselves as a mother, as a survivor.
What kind of mom?
She's an incredible mom. She's the best mom I know. I take all of my cues from her. I use language because I hear her use that language.
Nikki and her partner, Chris Grover, were raising their young family around Poughkeepsie, New York. They'd met when they were both coaching gymnastics.
In retrospect, there are a lot of people who say they never saw a thing, but there are also a lot of people who say we saw her bruised, we saw her increasingly injured, and we didn't know what to do.
Nikki alleged that Chris abused her physically and sexually for years, and although she told several people close to her and met with law enforcement at the time, once officials got involved, she declined to sign the paperwork to prompt further investigation.
"2 a.m. in Poughkeepsie, and a police officer who was just out doing rounds drove up behind her, and he ran the air horn.
And that's when she came out, and, in the police officer's words, hysterically, and described exactly what happened.
He's laying on the couch. He's just laying there.
Earlier that day, Child Protective Services had visited their home after an anonymous caller reported that they noticed Nikki was often bruised.
She has testified that that day he went to work, and when he came home, he looked different than she'd ever seen him look before. She has testified that he took out his gun.
And I said, I don't want to touch it. He handed me bullets. He loaded it a couple times.
And then hours passed. According to her testimony, he had sex with her against her will.
And when I saw he was asleep, I got up and I went to go get the kids.
He woke up and pulled the gun from inside the couch.
And reached into the couch, and I kneed him, and it fell, and I picked it up.
Nikki was taken into custody, questioned, and later charged with second-degree murder. It would be months before she was able to see her children.
I've never been a day without him. It hurts so bad lying here every day.
I know.
I'm only going to be able to see you guys twice a week. What if they don't even remember me when they get to see me?
During the trial, Nikki maintained that she acted in self-defense. She even took the stand, testifying to the alleged abuse. But the prosecution questioned her credibility and said that if she were being abused, she could have left.
So the arguments that were made to the jury were basically, you know, it's a very trite phrase to say blame the victim. In the area of domestic violence, that's exactly what we do, because the DA in this case, and in so many other cases, take what we know is the impact of domestic violence on a survivor and use that to try to convince people not to believe the survivor.
In closing arguments, the state drove home its position that she didn't kill Chris in self-defense, instead calling it intentional murder.
What did that feel like to hear guilty?
It felt like the air was sucked out of the room completely, and it felt like I kind of stopped hearing sounds. There was nothing, it was pure helplessness.
Around the time of Nikki's conviction, a new law was enacted in New York State, the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act, giving courts the discretion to shorten sentences if survivors could prove that abuse was a contributing factor to a crime.
Ultimately, the judge made the decision on his own that, in fact, no, she had not been abused, at least by Chris Grover.
That meant the law didn't apply to Nikki. She was sentenced to 19 years to life in prison.
The sentence that was handed down was, to use the appellate court's words, based on antiquated myths of domestic violence.
New York City attorney Garrett Beeney took up Nikki's case pro bono. He and his team putting up more than 4,000 hours on her appeal. Earlier this year, her sentence was reduced to 7.5 years, the appellate court saying the abuse history was not undetermined. Instead, the defendant established through her lengthy testimony, photographs, and other evidence that Grover repeatedly abused her physically and sexually, and noting the abuse was a significant contributing factor to the defendant's criminal behavior. She's set to be released in January of 2024.
I mean, one of the things that we discussed after getting the appellate decision with her repeatedly was her satisfaction that as a result of her situation, she's been able to do something for other women.
It's very hard for people to see somebody as a victim if they used deadly force.
Justine Vanderloon spent years poring through documents after the trial. Her podcast, Believe Her, is a deep dive into Nikki's case.
It's particularly hard for our legal system, which is so black and white and which demands perfect innocence or total guilt, to understand that somebody might have killed another person but not be a murderer.
I think we're taught that they're good people and that there are bad people. And our experience as organizers just shows that that's just not true.
Ashley C. Sawyer is an organizer with Survived and Punished, a national group dedicated to ending the criminalization of survivors of domestic violence.
The people who end up in the prison system, whether adult or juvenile, are people who have experienced some of the worst traumas that we could ever imagine. They're being punished for the ways that they found to defend themselves or to try to become free from the situation that they were in.
Ashley's organization helped Michelle lay the framework for her sister's defense committee, We Stand with Nikki, which now has thousands of allies.
I'm grateful for any survivor, any person facing imprisonment, to have support. I think that there are other survivors who don't get the recognition. I think of Crystal Kaiser in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I think about Centoya Brown. And so we hope that if Nikki gets the outcome that we're working toward, it will also place pressure on prosecutors across the United States to really rethink their strategy and to stop prosecuting criminalized survivors.
It's good to see you.
This week, Nikki's team delivered a petition to Governor Kathy Hochul's office, 18,000 signatures strong.
When you see something wrong and you speak up, it really matters. And when you see people who need help and you show up, it really, really matters.
Why spend your free time doing this for free?
You don't want to be a part of a system, which I am. Sorry. You don't want to be part of a system, the criminal justice system, as a lawyer, that creates injustice. The law degree gives you a remarkable ability to change things, one client at a time.
Why do you think so many people are dedicated to her cause?
Nikki kind of embodies this goodness that attracts people, and when you see it and when you're touched by it, it's impossible to ignore it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.